everyone, hope you've had a great weekend. Well, it's back to school and this means a new academic year for everybody. Isn't that exciting? Are you excited to be a grade higher than you were last year? Well, we sure are. And to show you how excited we are, we want to get you at home a little more involved in the production process. So this is what we are going to do. Starting from this episode, once a month, we will be coming to you, your schools, to shoot an episode of News Generation. So we start in Sunflower School, North Kaneshi. Let's go meet my co-hosts. Hi guys, how you guys doing? Yeah? How you feeling? Great. Are you excited to be on News Generation today?
Yes.
Well, before we continue, let the people know who you are. So introduce yourselves to us.
Okay, I'm Carol Crenson. And I'm Nana Crenson.
Okay guys, so what's coming up in the bulletin today?
Coming up, how do you feel about the men and boys who wipe windscreens at the traffic lights? Well, we spent some time with a few of them. They have quite interesting stories to tell.
We talk about how to keep healthy in school in the wake of the cholera outbreak in parts of the country.
And Coach Kwesiape has been sacked. We will tell you what we think in the WhatsApp segment.
That sounds like it's going to be an exciting episode, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, please stay with us.
Supported by Cowbell with Vitarid.
Remember, you can always catch up with us on social media.
We are on facebook.com/News Generation GH or on Twitter at NewsGenGH.
The recently announced feeding fee for senior high school students has generated a controversy between the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools and the Minister of Education.
Charles says the 3 cities 30 pesos daily feeding fee will affect the quality and quantity of food given to students. The ministry, however, insists that Charles was part of discussions that approved the new feeding fee.
The 3 cities 30 pesos feeding fee means that break, lunch and supper will each cost 1 cedis 10 pesos. The new feeding is a 50% increase for the 2012-2013 academic year when it was 2 Ghana cedis 20 pesos.
They are insulted and threatened.
Who?
Windscreen cleaners, of course. Why do you think they are on the streets?
Well, I think they've dropped out from school and the government must do something about this.
Well, Daniel Bukari and Lukman Mohammed are not your usual windscreen cleaners who just want to earn some coins from drivers. They have big dreams far away from the streets.
They are known as squeegee kids, but are commonly called windscreen cleaners at most traffic lights in Accra. For some drivers, the presence of these young boys moving from car to car to clean their windscreen in traffic is very annoying.
The car is equipped with such thing that can clean itself. So I don't see why they are here. They should rather enjoy themselves in other services.
Like,
people are selling, not probably in the streets, but the youth today seems as if a lot of them don't want to work.
But for others, they perform a very important role in making sure their windscreens look clean at a very low cost.
Yeah, because of they took the advantage of the traffic. So also do it, so that's what we are doing. Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
They are mostly tolerated since they are considered to be working for money rather than begging. In many cases, the cleaning is done without asking permission from drivers. Lukman Mohammed, 14, and Daniel Bukari, 16, are one of such windscreen cleaners at Kaukudi traffic lights in Accra. Unlike some of their friends who drop out of school to focus on cleaning windscreens full-time, Daniel and Lukman do it during vacations and on weekends.
I want to become a bank manager. But I don't take my studies seriously. I may not become the bank manager.
The two are in JHS 3.
I came to look for money so that tomorrow I can send to school.
Are your parents happy with what you are doing currently?
Yes, because they know that I'm doing this work.
We are here like just for fun, but we don't take this this business as our future. We are just doing it just for fun.
They tell some interesting stories, including how some drivers have threatened them with police arrest.
Sometimes they used to insult us, others used to give us, or sometimes others also died because of this thing. But we are praying to God, we stop this thing and look towards our education.
They see us as if we are not going to school. Some of them too, they don't like. If the parents say that you don't like and force and do and insult all of us at the same time, that is not fair.
They are working to have a future, but it is a dangerous work.
Sometimes if you are going to wipe, you may be wiping and the light will go green. Sometimes the car of the tire can pass on your leg, but the driver will not know.
How much do you get on a given day?
30 Ghana cedi, 20 Ghana cedi.
What are the tools you use in doing this windscreen cleaning business?
Buckets, omo and water.
Duster, so that if you wipe, the omo that is there, you can clean it.
So whenever you see any of these young boys running after cars in traffic to clean their windscreens, do not judge them. They are trying their best to survive.
After my GSS, I can go further and see some dangers when my mother or my father or my siblings cannot afford it. Then I myself can afford it for myself.
The issue of street children has come to stay in the capital, but most of them have no options left. That is why they remain on the streets.
Yet, they want to be professionals in future. So how can these young people be helped? We spoke to a child rights activist and he tells us the way to go in the following reports.
The high streets are always filled with cars of different sorts, every one of them hurrying off to some place. In the midst of all the cars are people, many of them young and running through the line of vehicles. It's not for fun. They try to outsmart each other to sell off whatever wares they offer for sale. They are trying to earn a living, to grow their lives, but in a dangerous way.
School, soldier, police.
Because cannot pay me free school, but to say 4 my baton idea. Sometimes I turn 3 bags and now 2. So me from there, them they are so.
But they continue selling every day, regardless of the danger. The streets are not a good place to daydream, but they do anyway.
Sometimes like a ferry break, it's me for baby and I say one year like it me out.
Project coordinator at Child Rights International, Joshua Nyemasem, says government needs to put together policies and programs to help take young people off the streets.
The state has a role to ensure that the child is given access to education and given all the supplies needed to be able to complete school successfully, so that the parents' dream of achieving this education that will lead to good employment will be realized. But the state has not been able to ensure equitable treatment of Ghanaian children across the country. We need to design programs or projects that to tackle the root cause of these children landing on the street hawking. Children are supposed to be guided from day one. So when parental guidance is there for them, and the state makes available guidance and counseling coordinators in all the schools, and they monitor and counsel these students that it is not good for you to start looking at money this time, but concentrate on your school so that after school you can look for money, all the others can be added.
But he says government can't work alone. To him, civil society and other organizations need to help out as well.
The solution, much of it has to come from civil society groups like us, Child Rights International.
Let's go to Efua for our discussion.
So it's been a season of disease, if I do say so myself. Cholera has hit Accra really hard, and of course, as you may all know, we are in the midst of an impending Ebola outbreak. Thankfully, there hasn't been any recorded case in Ghana as of yet, but our neighboring West African countries, Liberia, Sierra Leone, even Nigeria, are dealing with that disease. Well, children are back to school, so we want to find out how they feel. Are they doing anything to, protect themselves in these times of cholera and Ebola? Okay, so guys, tell me, how do you feel coming back to school in the midst of a cholera outbreak and even hearing about the deadly Ebola virus?
I'm not worried about the cholera outbreak because if you take the correct preventive methods, you will be safe from it. But in the first place, the proprietress and the headmaster shouldn't have made us come to school.
Why not?
Because we are in the midst of diseases. Anytime we are taking something from someone, we may touch the person. And since Ebola deals with sweat and touching, if we immediately touch the person, we might either get the disease. And sometimes we hold dirty money. So what if the person having Ebola has held the money, also hold the money, also get the disease?
Before you continue, Ebola cannot be spread through touching money or exchanging money. Okay, do you guys agree with her?
Yes.
No, yes. Okay, you said yes.
Ebola is a deadly virus which can kill within 2 to 21 days. And we are not supposed to come to school because we don't know people, where the people are coming from, and then even though they are friends, but we don't know their backgrounds, where they live, where they are coming from, and they come to school as our friends. We touch them, we play together, we don't know what's in their body and their system.
But the school is educating people in that aspect.
Okay, Marian.
I also think that there should be the free distribution of hand sanitizers in schools and in government schools, so that if there is no soap and water, they can use this when they are eating or they are taking their snack.
I'm sure everyone here has some sanitizer, and most of us often say the sanitizer is the best way, but most of them are fake, and some of them don't have the correct alcoholic percentage that every sanitizer needs to have. So sometimes school children and infants as a whole take the sanitizers and think we are already secured, we don't have anything to do. Meanwhile, the alcoholic percentage is not enough.
Okay, so let me see your sanitizers. Show us your sanitizers. Who bought them for you? Your parents. So who can tell me what the correct percentage of alcohol should be? Irene.
It's supposed to be over 70% of alcoholic percentage, and it should kill at least 85% of germs in the hand and over the body.
So how are you guys feeling?
We are very scared because it's very deadly, and I wouldn't want to die at this age.
What in terms of what exactly? Are you referring to cholera or are you referring to Ebola?
Both of them, because you can die at any time if you contract that disease.
Alright.
Well, it was the hospital case around was it Asargocho? So they recorded 856 cases and almost 322 had died out of cholera.
It's not yet in Ghana, so we just hope that it stays wherever it is and the disease gets a kill soon. And for the cholera, we have to wash our hands frequently. We wash our hands very frequently, and that is helping us to prevent the disease.
I'm feeling so scared even coming to school because the way they say if you touch somebody with hand safe fluid you get called Ebola. They give us so many things, so even coming to school I feel so scared.
I'm also feeling very scared because if you touch your friend, they'll say, hey, Ebola, Ebola, so don't touch me.
So that's what they are doing in school now.
Yeah.
I see. So do you think there's enough awareness going around?
If you dial a certain number, they'll help you so that you'll be able to know more about the Ebola and cholera.
Okay. So you're feeling better about it?
Yes. And Auntie, please, those who have been, when they get the cholera, they go to churches and they be saying that God can help them. Heaven help those who help themselves, because if you have the cholera, you have to go to hospital so that the doctors can treat you. And you don't have to go to pastors and other things like malams for them to cure you, because now I think that's a main reason why the cholera is spreading like that.
Now finally, I need one person to show me proper hand washing technique.
First of all, you have to get soap and running water. It's very important to use running water. So you rinse your hand first before you apply the soap. Then you make sure you rub the soap all over your hand well. Then you wash in between your fingers and your nails. Then you rinse your hand.
Then you use a clean napkin to wipe your hands.
And does everyone wash their hands like this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Well, in case you were not sure of the proper way to wash your hands, here are some tips.
When your kids need it all, there's only one drink that's got it. Cowbell Chocomalt. It's got the delicious taste of chocolate, the nourishment of malt, the all-round goodness of milk, and sugar for energy, all in one sachet. All I add is water, hot or cold. Now, that's real value. And that's real teamwork. Cowbell Chocomalt, 4-in-1 value with a great new taste.
Time to see what other stories are making news locally and around the world.
Hi, my name is Janelle and I'm presenting the local news. WAEC has released the provisional results of the 2014 Basic Education Certificate exams. Out of over 420 candidates who wrote the exams, the results of over 11,000 students have been withheld. They are being investigated for alleged examination malpractices. 398 candidates have also had their results cancelled.
Malala shooting suspects arrested. 10 militants suspected of shooting teenage education campaigner Malala Yousafzai have been arrested. Nearly 2 years ago, terrorist group attacked Malala on a school bus. They didn't like the fact she was campaigning for education for girls in Pakistan. Malala was seriously injured in the attack but was flown to the UK for treatment and has now recovered. Cuba is sending 165 health workers to help tackle the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, officials say. Doctors, nurses, and infection control specialists will travel to Sierra Leone in October and stay for 6 months. The announcement comes as the World Health Organization says new cases in West Africa are increasing faster than the capacity to manage them. More than 2,400 people have died from the virus in recent months, and some 4,700 people have been infected.
I am gone, I am the one, the one, the one. Let's go.
Epd Adam says he has dedicated 2 of his recent music videos to tourism. Only in Ghana, and the one will take fans on a musical journey through Ghana. He is advising other musicians to take the art seriously and help put Ghana on the international music map. The first official photo of the new Batmobile has been released for fans to see. Zack Snyder, who is currently directing the superhero sequel Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, posted the image online. It is the first new Batmobile model to hit screens since the 2005 film Batman Begins. The blockbuster, starring Henry Cavill as Superman and Ben Affleck as Batman, will be released in March 2016.
I think it will be right if he's sacked because, and if they think that they are making the right decision, that Milovan can take good care of the Black Stars and train them properly.
It's not a good idea because it was the Black Stars their fault.
What was the fault of the Black Stars?
Let's say they did not do teamwork.
But isn't the coach in charge of making sure that they work as a team?
Yes, but you see, this Black Stars, when they score one, they think that's the end. So they have to continue working hard and think ahead. I'm not happy that Percy Appiah has been sacked.
I think it's not a good idea because the team is a Ghanaian team, and then we need a Ghanaian to coach the team. We don't need any foreigner to come and coach us because he won't be able to understand. And even the one they brought to come and coach the team is not a Ghanaian. He doesn't get to understand the players. We need a Ghanaian coach who can understand the players, and the players can also understand him to make a better team.
I'm so happy because he didn't deserve that position. He's not so much experienced. He's not an experienced coach. He has never been a head coach of a country before. He has always been an assistant coach. So I don't think he's ready to take that position as a head coach.
I think what the management did is not right. I think Percy Appiah is very good for the Black Stars. Anytime that we go for World Cup or maybe football, we always win or get to the semi-finals. I think he's good.
Let's quickly see what's happening in the world of sports. Elkem Hammer, what's going on?
House of Folk suffer too much home ban plus fines. House of Folk have been hit with a too much home ban. This is after the team's disciplinary committee found them guilty for misconduct and violence. The club, together with their officials, players and supporters, have been fined a total of 11,000 Ghana cedis for misconduct. The Phobians, who pleaded not guilty to the charges, were also fined 5,000 Ghana cedis on all 4 counts for the incidents that happened during and after a Premier League match against New Edibiasi in Accra on 4 June 2014. Stadium in Argentina to be named after Pope. Argentine football club San Lorenzo has announced it will name its new stadium after Pope Francis. The Pontiff has supported the Buenos Aires-based team since he was a boy. San Lorenzo, one of the oldest teams in the Argentine Football Association, is planning to build a new stadium in a working-class neighborhood in the Argentine capital. Pope Francis is the team's most famous fan, and some supporters have joked that their recent sporting success is down to him. Portugal coach resigns role after shock defeat. Portugal coach Paulo Bento has resigned his post after last week's 1-0 defeat at home to Albania. Bento, 45, had been in charge since 2010 but failed to steer his side out of the group stages at this summer's World Cup in Brazil. Under Bento, Portugal reached the last four at Euro 2012 before losing a penalty shootout to eventual winners Spain. They qualified for the World Cup by beating Sweden in a playoff but were thrashed 4-0 by Germany in their opener and were eliminated at the group stage. F1 teams banned from giving performance advice over radio. Formula 1 teams have been banned from giving advice aimed at improving drivers' performance over the radio. The governing body FIA says it will now enforce a rule detecting drivers must drive the car alone without any help. This will prevent teams telling drivers how to alter how they approach corners, as Mercedes do with title rivals Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. The letter forbids teams communicating any information related to the performance of the car or driver.
He was the world's first disabled athlete to complete in able-bodied sport. Over the past year, he has been the subject of a murder trial.
Oscar Pistorius was found not guilty of murder, but he could still go to jail. That's what the world is talking about.
Oscar Pistorius did not commit murder the night his model girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, died. He is still responsible for her death. That is the verdict in the murder trial, which has been going on for 7 months.
The evidence shows that from the onset, the accused believed that at the time he fired shots into the toilet door, the deceased was in the bedroom while the intruders were in the toilet. This belief was communicated to a number of people shortly after the incident. A question is, did the accused foresee the possibility of the resultant death, yet persisted in his deed, reckless whether death ensured or not? In the circumstances of this case, the answer has to be no.
He is responsible for Riva's death but did not murder her means he might get a lesser prison time if the judge decides. He has been found guilty of culpable homicide after the judge Thokozile Masipa found he killed his girlfriend by mistake. The charge of culpable homicide means he did not intend to kill, but his actions were careless and not in line with a reasonable person. The judge ruled that Oscar had enough time to call for help rather than going to deal with a perceived intruder with a loaded gun.
Having regard to the totality of this evidence, in this matter, the unanimous decision of this court is the following. 1. On count 1, murder read with section 51(1) of the Criminal Law Amendment Act 105 of 1997, the accused is found not guilty and is discharged. Instead, he is found guilty of culpable homicide.
Oscar Pistorius was also found guilty of illegally discharging a gun in a restaurant. He could receive a jail term on this charge alone. He was found not guilty after illegally firing a gun through a car sunroof after the judge said the witnesses were unreliable. He was also acquitted of illegal possession of ammunition. But the verdict has sparked debate across South Africa. Many South Africans think Oscar should have been found guilty of murder. Legal experts, however, say the judge's verdict is based on the exact interpretation of the law. Oscar Pistorius will be sentenced on 13th October after the judge agreed he remain on bail.
So that's it for this edition of News Generation.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
From all of us here at Sunflower School.
Bye!
Supported by
Cowbell with Vitarid.